Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's January 15th, 2020, and today I wanted to share with you my thoughts about a new tool that I'm using on the property, and it's called the Skydio 2. The Skydio 2 is a second generation autonomous drone combining artificial intelligence, computer vision, and advanced robotics. So we've talked before about, or I've spoken before about the type of disruptive technologies and the companies that utilize these technologies to invest in. And this Skydio 2, I read about it about a year ago, and after the my GoPro Karma started breaking down with a gimbal, I decided that what I wanted to do was pick up another drone, something that I would be able to have utilize some of these latest smart sensor, artificial intelligence, computer vision, and advanced robotics. And Skydio 2 has all of these components integrated together. Right now, you see me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drive down to the Beaver Pond, and I have the Skydio 2. Actually, it's locked on to the Pepe, the little mule that I'm driving right now, and it's going to follow me. Now, it does get away from me a couple of times, but that's because of my inadequacy thus far using this piece of equipment. Pretty soon you'll see me get out of Pepe here and go ahead and re-lock in on the beacon, which I'm holding in my hand. I just wasn't holding the beacon in a place where the Skydio 2 could function with it. So a little bit more about this Skydio 2. It flies itself while intelligently tracking subjects. Like right now, I'm going to have it track the Pepe, and this subject could be a person walking, it could be a person on a bicycle, could be a car, could be anything. It captures really amazing 4K video. Now, of course, we're completely overcast here. I'm not using any filters, so it's truly amazing. This drone. There's lots of small limbs and branches. I have crashed it twice. I don't think it's the fault of the drone. I think it's because I brought it into situations that were darn near impossible for it to avoid clipping some limbs. It can be flown by either using a controller, which I used today, which isn't included in this video. I'm going to probably post in the next couple of days some controller video of looking at the ponds, looking at the property, and going down to the Beaver Pond as well. And when I got down to the Beaver Pond today, I'll tell you there were really high winds, and so the drone was flying at a 45-degree angle. This little machine is a really well engineered and designed piece of equipment. Right now I'm driving by Pond 7 on my right hand side in the drainage swale, and I'll talk about the amount of water that we've had come up through this drought we've had this year, and right now we're having a snow drought as well. So now I'm going down into the path to get us down in the access road to get us down to where the Beaver Pond is. So what about this Skydio 2? So they've been working on this for several years, working with a group of, I guess, very dedicated engineers, and I'm super impressed with this. So it uses an autonomy engine, which has been the focus of years of the research. The autonomy engine comprehends what's happening around the drone itself. It predicts what's going to happen next and makes intelligent decision using, making these decisions multiple times a second. It uses 6 4K cameras to build a 3D map of its surrounding, including trees, limbs, peoples, buildings, and so on. By understanding, what we're doing, the obstacles that need to be avoided, this drone can navigate through circumstances and through areas that I don't think any other drone has ever been able to do in the past. So I'm coming down here. This is the area on the left right now is the area where I cleared out this season, and you'll see I'll come up here, and I was going to drive right around the roadway that I built going around the beaver dams. But as soon as I pull in here, I see right ahead of me, I have some washout from the lower beaver dam. where there was a breakaway there. So I'm going to have to fix that area in the near future. So far, I'm really impressed with how well this system is working. The way that I'm operating it during this video is I'm launching it from my hand, and then it flies away from me. It locks into me, and I'm using my phone to enhance its GPS and hasten the time that it takes for the drone to lock onto me. Now I don't even have to pay any attention to it. It will follow me, and depending on the beacon that I have in my hand, I can either tell it to follow close, go up, go down, and in a moment you'll probably see me. So I'm actually walking through the washout areas here in the lower dam, and so I can turn around, point the beacon at it like Harry Potter's wand, and just tell it, okay, I want you to move over here. I want you to get up. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm moving the drone around just by pointing at it, locking my thumb down on a controller there, and then hitting another button and say, go away from me, or another button that would say, come closer to me. So this is the area that you've seen before. We've taken the GoPro Karma up here, and this is the access road that I worked on, throughout last summer and fall, and for the most part, it's held up pretty darn well. As I go closer to the end period here, we're going to get to where the upper Beaver Dam is located as well. So by using the beacon the way that I'm using it right here, doesn't give you, because it's locked on to me, it's following me is what it's doing. And so the main focus of the camera is focused right at me, whether it's quite a distance away or close to me. So it really doesn't give you a good vantage point of looking around and seeing how everything's looking around the dams and the ponds here. So in the next day or two, I'll share with you some video clip that I have gone ahead and shot with using the controller. So there's 3 ways you can control it. The way I'm using it right today is I've got a beacon in my hand, and that's sending out a GPS signal, and the 4K cameras, there's actually 7 cameras on it. 3 4K cameras pointing down, and 3 4K cameras pointing up, and then we have the 4K camera that's looking at me right now, and it really does an amazing job despite how dark it is right here. So I'm going across where the beaver have been going back and forth throughout the time. I'm pointing at the drone right now and moving it around so it's changing the angle. I'm a bit concerned that it's too high here, and if it crashes here and goes into the water, well, I'm out of quite a bit of money. So I'm telling it to come down closer to me and get down lower in elevation, and seeing if I want to go ahead and risk going out the other side here. And initially I don't do that. I'm actually going to just walk just so far and then turn around and re-walk the area that I've already walked. So this is a little bit boring footage in a sense. But on my right-hand side, or the right-hand side of the screen, is the upper Beaver Dam, which is several feet higher in elevation than the lower Beaver Dam to my left. You can't appreciate it in the video footage that we've got here right now, but on my left-hand side, there's drainage ports where you can see in between the stone and the root balls from the trees that I built this road on top of. There's small amounts of water that, instead of breaching the surface of the dam, it's working its way through to the lower dam there. So I'm turning around now and starting to head back. And it's amazing that the drone can lock on to a person or onto a vehicle and follow the person. And by keeping it low, you get a little bit better idea of what I'm seeing down here at this level, as opposed to doing the bird's eye view looking down straight at me. So the area that I'm walking over right now is the area where the beaver were constantly going back and forth over in previous videos that you've seen when I was constructing it. And to my left-hand side it's I'm going down in elevation as I'm walking here. So about now I'm about 3 feet below the level of the left-hand side, the upper Beaver Dam. And I'm coming around here, tons of rocks and material underneath this whole area. And now I'm heading back along the lower dam wall that I built here. So thank God we had Hound the skid steer to help me speed this process up this fall and get this dam, the access road created out here. To my right is the area where you could see the beaver swimming around in a previous video I posted this summer or fall. On the left side you can see some sand over there in the waterway, and that's part of what rushed out through and broke down these two areas that were breached by the high water levels. And of course when you get down here we have high winds as well. So now I'm going to decide, am I going to park it, or am I going to just go ahead and take you around, and we'll go around one more time, but we'll go up the other access road area here. Behind me is the area that I'll be clearing out and putting in another large pond over to the right side of the screen right now. So I decide, okay, grab my phone, we'll walk around a little bit more. And now the drone is locked on to me going backwards, which to me at this point I'm a little bit nervous about, that it would detect everything, the low limbs and all, and it has to use artificial intelligence to decide which way to go depending on which way it looks like I'm traveling. So the drone can make some sudden jerky appearing moves. So I decided to put it, since the roadway actually curves behind the drone, I decided to grab a hold of it with the beacon, and like it's basically like a wand, just grabbing it and telling it move over here, move down to this level, and then I start walking and sort of force the drone. There's trees all around where we are now, and there's limbs hanging down as well. Once the limbs have the leaves on them, I think it'll be much easier to detect. Certainly I get smacked in the face by some of these low-lying limbs. Much easier to detect when the leaves are there. So now I'm deciding, am I going to go out the other path? No, I'm going to go back around and travel down through this area and see how well the drone follows me. So the app on my phone is connected to the beacon. Now you can fly it just with your phone app. There's an app that's downloadable if you buy a Skydio 2, and you can fly it with just the app. Buying the controller and the extra batteries and the beacon are all extra. But I think this beacon works so well, so now I'm heading back out. I'm going along the upper dam on the left-hand side of the screen, and heading back around, and I'll curl right around to the lower dam as well. But the beacon, as I was saying, seems to be such an amazing system. It really gives from what I understand, it allows utilize the GPS coordinates from where the beacon is, and the ability of the Skydio 2, the drone itself, to lock into that beacon in case it loses me out of sight. It knows about where I am because it communicates back to the drone where the GPS is. Just like in your car, if your car's out on the road and you've got some of the new technology, you know exactly where your car is at all times. That's what the benefit of having this beacon. They're really integrating these various technologies, which I find to be amazing. I can't wait to see what they come up with next. They aren't publicly traded yet, to the best of my knowledge. And if they keep working like this and creating equipment like this, I see pieces of equipment like this, integrating advanced robotics, artificial intelligence, and these various types of cameras, other sensors as well. These vehicles could help policemen with potentially determining, is someone dangerous, so that we have less people being injured by using excessive force. These can be used by firemen as well. They could be used out west in California. These things could automatically launch during electrical storms and determine has one of the transformers exploded and created a fire. So there's so many different tools. These certainly can be used by the military as well, so that they can go through areas where there's people who have been lost and are end up missing in the woods or in the wilderness in some location. These tools using thermal red, infrared cameras can certainly perform extra functions. I think that companies that are integrating these various technologies are going to totally make life much easier and much safer, and be able to reduce the costs of the devastating fires that we have, or inappropriate use of force when it's unnecessary. Drones could be used that could work like this. Of course, there's a risk that $1,000 drone could be shot out by someone who's rather violent, but then you know you need to move in with appropriate force, and as a result of knowing that information. I just think that there's so many applications, and I'm sure all of you who watch this can think of different applications. Farmers could be using this to monitor their fields. They could be looking for wildlife that are potentially triggering sensors on the ground, or intruders that are intruding on the property. These could be autonomously launched to survey the area, capture appropriate footage as well. There's so many different circumstances that I think this tool could be used. So I've got my left hand out holding the beacon, going through the woods here. It did lose me for a few seconds here. I'm not sure what did happen. I have gloves on at this time because of the temperature and all. Right there is where it lost me. I just cut out the footage, but I was able to just get off of Pepe, point at it, switch it over to me flying it manually using the beacon. In other words, there's buttons on the beacon that allows me to say, okay, stop trying to look for me. I'm going to tell you drop down lower, turn to your left, advance some, turn to your right. Okay, now lock in on me. Then I get back on Pepe, and away we go. So I'm super impressed at how well this tool is working with all of these small limbs all over the place, hanging in different locations. I brought it along where the black locust trees are, where there are multiple limbs. Now it took off from me here, and I just went ahead and grabbed it again with the beacon and just brought it down and around, made sure it was locked onto the vehicle, as opposed to locking onto me, because once I get in the vehicle, it can lose me. That's one of the first mistakes I made. Now I'm going to go ahead and drive around Pond 7. Now, many of you have seen the big boulder that I pulled out from, that John had actually pulled out for me next to Pond 7. Well, I pulled 2 more boulders out from another area that I was working on, putting in living fence, and now there's 3 big boulders there. And so now I'm just going to drive around Pond 7. Pond 7 is finally almost full. It's not overflowing yet, but it's pretty darn close to being full. And again, in the next day or two, I'll post another video which will show me using the controller going around the ponds, and I'll talk more about the ponds and the property when I use the controller, because you can get a much better bird's eye view, good appropriate drone footage. This is much better for following action, following you through the woods, keeping track of you, locking onto you on your vehicle. So pretty impressive. I'm just blown away by this technology. I'm going ahead and speeding up here and saying, well, will it keep up with me? Will it go underneath all these limbs from all the apple trees and all? So it's going to, right after going by the sugar shack here, there's apple trees all along in here, and it's navigating very well through all the limbs, which you probably can't appreciate just how much it's doing based on the video that I'm showing right here. So super impressive. I'm so happy with this drone so far. The tech support, I've corresponded with Jessica. I had a battery that wasn't acting right. She went through the process of helping me to reset the battery and allow it to recharge to full capacity. So that was very helpful. I also told her it took me 5 to 6 minutes to get the Skydio 2 to go ahead and launch on me, and she recommended that I use my phone in addition to the beacon to get it to launch. And because it's known to take 5 to 6 minutes to lock onto GPS, by using the phone app, it has the other GPS that it can communicate with the drone, and lo and behold, it works extremely well. So super impressed with this. Going around here, just on my right side, which you can't see, is pond 2. I'll be showing these ponds in the next video that I upload in the next day or so. So I know there isn't all that much about this video, that may be a bit boring, but I wanted to show you. I'm just super impressed with how well this tracks a person or a vehicle, and it's just amazing, and there's lots of videos online. So if you found this video of value, please give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and by all means, folks, take good care of yourselves, stay healthy, and think about next season's garden. Bye-bye now.